Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616. After months of radio silence from Marvel, it looks like the studio has finally decided to blow our brains out with some awesome stuff this week. The Captain Marvel trailer is set to debut in the next few hours. I'll have a video on that tomorrow. Word is the Avengers 4 trailer is finally coming this Wednesday on Good Morning America. And Square Enix is reportedly going to reveal a trailer for their secretive Avengers game this Thursday at the Game Awards. And just to add more icing to the cake, Marvel Studios just announced a brand new movie they have in the works for Phase 4 and beyond, and it centers around the last character I ever expected to get a movie, Shang-Chi. So today I just wanted to take a moment and go over what little we know about this movie, but really more what we could expect from it. So I said before, this is really surprising for a couple of reasons. I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to call Shang-Chi obscure. He's pretty well known among the comics community. He's had quite a few solo runs over the years, although not too many recently, and he was even an Avenger not too long ago. However, he's nowhere near as popular or beloved as Spider-Man or even the Guardians of the Galaxy as of late. But that's not why I'm so surprised. Putting obscure characters in the spotlight is basically Marvel's entire deal. But it's the fact that Shang-Chi is so different from everything else they've made. He's very much a street-level character to the point where in the past, I was almost expecting him to show up in one of the Netflix shows. Most likely Iron Fist. Shang-Chi isn't street-level in the same way that Luke Cage or Daredevil is. It's just that he has no powers at all. His whole deal is that he's just an incredibly good fighter, one of, if not the best, in the world. So I guess he's just not as bombastic as others. There's not as much lore behind him that would really open up totally new corners of the MCU. But I am very interested to see where this goes. The addition of this has really screwed up what little understanding I thought I had of Phase 4. Between this, Black Widow, the Eternals, and then the X-Men and the Fantastic Four on the way, I literally have no clue what's happening anymore. But let's back up a bit. Who is Shang-Chi? To put it simply, he's basically Marvel's Bruce Lee. He first appeared in Special Marvel Edition issue 15 in 1973. Back in the 70s, Bruce Lee was in his prime with the classic kung fu movies like Enter the Dragon, Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, etc., etc. He was wowing the audiences of America with his martial arts mastery, so Marvel decided to get a slice of this with their comics and introduced Shang-Chi. Back then, Marvel did this quite often. They'd introduce characters of different tones to replicate a popular trend of the time. Another famous example is Luke Cage, who capitalized on blaxploitation films. In the comics, Shang-Chi was raised and trained by his father Zhang Zhu to be an assassin. Then known as Fu Manchu, Zhang was a crime lord and a sorcerer who tried to take over the world many times, so a classic supervillain. He was also a bit of a stereotype, so I'm sure he'll be very different in the movie. As soon as Shang-Chi realized that his father was evil, he faked his death and began working against him alongside an enemy of his father's named Dennis Nayland Smith. Dennis is an MI6 agent who frequently thwarted Zhang's plots. From there, he essentially became a secret agent, traveling the globe and stopping his father's schemes. Zhang isn't the only enemy of Shang-Chi's, of course. There's also Cat, or Xing Kui. He's not a full-on enemy of Shang's, really. Their rivalry came from a misunderstanding more than anything. He's a spy based in Hong Kong with martial arts skills that nearly rival Shang-Chi's. However, the two have teamed up against common foes in the past. Another enemy that came from Hickman's run is the Hand, or more specifically, Tomi Shishido, aka Gorgon. He's the leader of the Hand and a truly awesome villain that I really wish had been the centerpiece of the Defenders in retrospect. I feel like he's an inevitable part of the MCU between this and, in particular, Wolverine, but his involvement with the Hand raises some questions. Will this lead to them just completely ignoring the story that Daredevil, Iron Fist, and the Defenders built? Or will they respect the lore that was added by Marvel TV? We'll have to see, of course, but considering how things are going right now, I don't have my hopes up. Since then, He's gone on to team up with the likes of Iron Fist and Daredevil. He joined the Heroes for Hire for a little while. And when Spider-Man briefly lost his spider sense, he trained him to be able to better fight to compensate for it. He is so skilled in martial arts that he even earned himself a spot on the Avengers back in 2012 with Jonathan Hickman's famous run. So, back to the MCU. First of all, just based on the roots of the character, this movie could potentially give us the slightly cheesy, over-the-top kung fu action we were all hoping would be in Iron Fist. And mix that with some James Bond-esque spy espionage to boot, and this could be a really fun movie. I don't really know how Shang-Chi will fit into this narrative moving forward in the MCU, but I'm very interested to see. And at the very least, it should be a fun action blockbuster. The report said that Marvel wants to make this kind of like Black Panther, where it fully represents the Asian culture it depicts. The film has already gotten a screenwriter with Dave Callaham. He's a pretty in-demand screenwriter right now, developing a ton of upcoming movies like Wonder Woman 1984, Mortal Kombat, the sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Zombieland 2. In the past, he's worked on the likes of The Expendables and Godzilla. It's said Marvel is currently looking for a director of Asian descent to helm the project. At this rate, the movie could probably make it for a 2021 release. I've got some ideas for the director. Justin Lin is probably my top choice. He directed Star Trek Beyond and a couple of Fast and Furious movies, so I think he could very much add to the spectacle of a Shang-Chi movie. My second choice is Lucy Liu. She's a bit more out there as she's more known as an actress than a director. To date, she's only ever directed TV episodes. She directed for Luke Cage, Elementary, and Graceland. But I mean, when has that ever stopped Marvel? As for who should portray Shang-Chi, I have some suggestions. I think the actor should definitely have some real martial arts skills. The action is going to be such an enormous part of this movie, though I feel like it's crucial that the lead can pull his own weight. My top choice then is Louis Tan. He starred as Shatterstar in Deadpool 2 and has been in the MCU before. He appeared as Zhao Qing for like 30 seconds in the first season of Iron Fist, but it was a complete waste of his talent. The dude is an incredible martial artist, and he actually auditioned twice for the role of Danny Rand, and almost got it, but he ultimately lost out to Finn Jones. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think that was a bit of a loss. On top of all of this, he's only 31, which means he'd be able to carry a franchise for years to come. Really, considering his star power, I'd be very surprised if Marvel wasn't already in talks with him. My second choice is Philip Ng. He actually played Bruce Lee in a biopic a couple of years back called Birth of the Dragon, so he could definitely pull off the action. For Zhang Zhu, my top choice is Donnie Yen. He's a great actor, but he's also very skilled in martial arts, so he'd fit right in. I feel like Dennis Smith will be in the movie too, so my top choice for him is Daniel Craig. But what if Shang-Chi has already been cast? What if he's been under our nose for a while now and we didn't even know it? Not too long ago it was announced that Remy He had joined the cast of Spider-Man Far From Home in a mystery role. It's been speculated that he's playing everyone from Hydro Man to Amadeus Cho, but what if he's Shang-Chi? Spidey is in London, maybe in the MCU Shang-Chi is an agent of the MI6, which could explain why he's in the movie. That'd be really awesome. He's a rising star now after Crazy Rich Asians and Marco Polo, so it makes a lot of sense. I think he'd be a good choice, although I also feel like they would have included him in the initial report if he had already been cast. In any event, this is really exciting news. The MCU is really beginning to shape up past Avengers 4. So far we have Far From Home, Black Widow, The Eternals, Doctor Strange 2 and Black Panther 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and now Shang-Chi. The fact is, something's going to have to give for Marvel if they plan on keeping a 3-a-year formula, which I think would be the smart thing to do. 4 just seems like way too much. There simply isn't enough room for everyone, so they'll either have to stop making Ant-Man, Spider-Man, or Captain Marvel films. Considering the popularity and freshness of the latter two, I'd say it's very possible that Ant-Man and the Wasp are on the cutting block. Or, at least, they could be relegated to Disney+. That is, unless Marvel adds a third 2020 date back in, then they could probably make it work, at least for a little while. In any event, what do you guys think? Are you excited for Shang-Chi's introduction into the MCU? What kind of stories and role do you think he could play moving forward? Let me know all your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.